Imagine this, China buying islands in other countries or just taking over land, then building homes for Chinese soldiers and their families on this land, then building runways for their military planes, deploying powerful weapon systems and missiles there, with guard towers on every corner, and Chinese soldiers carefully watching the gates. You cannot enter without permission. If you try, you might be shot. I'm sure you figured it by now. What I just described was a military base. And why is this news? Because China is threatening to build more of them. And some of these bases could be dangerously close to Indian borders. This is the latest threat from China. It wants to deploy its military everywhere in the Indo-Pacific. It wants to dominate these waters. How can it do that? By building military bases. China already has one such base in Djibouti, in the Horn of Africa. Now it is secretly building a second base in Cambodia. The Chinese military has had an eye on Cambodia for years now. In 2019, a runway had come up in Cambodia. It raised suspicions that a Chinese base could be built in the country soon. And sure enough, it is happening now. Let's tell you about China's top secret plan to build this military base in Cambodia. Reports say a groundbreaking ceremony is happening this week. Where exactly is China building the base? The Gulf of Thailand. It is right next to the Andaman Sea. Cambodia already has a base here. It's called the Ream Naval Base. And Cambodia is carving out some space for the Chinese right here. China will have a permanent presence in the northern section of the existing base. Now look at where China is getting this base. It is right next to the disputed South China Sea. Beijing claims this entire region, the entire South China Sea. 5 other countries and regions have competing claims. The South China Sea is one of the most hotly contested regions in the world. Now the Chinese military has got a base right there. China wants to keep it under wraps. In fact, both Cambodia and China are vocally denying these reports. They reject the claim that China is building such a base. But fresh details have now emerged. Apparently, China and Cambodia signed a pact in 2020. It was about expanding the Ream Naval Base. Reports say China is building and financing this. What is it getting in return? 2 things. The right to keep Chinese forces in Cambodia and secrecy. Some parts of this agreement have been published in an American newspaper, and I have a copy with me. This is what the alleged agreement between Cambodia and China says. The Chinese military will have exclusive use of the northern portion of the base while their presence would remain concealed. Now, if these claims are true, Cambodia is giving exclusive rights to China for a military base, and it has agreed to hide the presence of Chinese troops. Why was the secret agreement struck? The reasons are obvious. Chinese military bases are controversial projects. If word gets out, it might lead to a backlash. Beijing wants to avoid the attention. And Cambodia is helping China conceal its true intentions. But for how long can you hide an entire military base? There are satellite images doing the rounds. They've captured what's going on in Cambodia. This is the Ream Naval Base. China is said to be transforming this facility. Some structures have already been built. 3 new buildings have come up. There's a new road. Earlier, there used to be some trees in the area. Those have been removed. Some more patches have been cleared up. This seems like preparation to build a military base if China is allowed to go ahead with it. This is going to be a major setback for regional security because China won't just stop at Cambodia. It has grand plans to militarize the Pacific, the Indo-Pacific. China wants more military assets in the region. Right now, China has just one operational military base in Djibouti. Cambodia will be the second one. China also pursued a base in the UAE, but those plans fell through. Beijing is believed to have reached out to 4 more countries: Namibia, Equatorial Guinea, Solomon Islands, and Vanuatu. China wants to build bases in all of these countries, plus they have a short list of 11 other potential sites. Angola, Tanzania, Kenya, Tajikistan, Seychelles, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia. Look at how wide they've cast their net. China could approach all of these countries for a base in the near future. Now look at this map closely. What do you see? From the east to the west, China is eyeing a base everywhere. And I'm not saying that China will end up building bases in all of these countries, but this is what our region will look like if China has its way. In other words, India could be surrounded by Chinese military bases. This is what China is trying to do in Asia. What about the rest of the world? China already has a global network of ports. More than 90 of them are under Chinese control, 90 ports. They're either owned by China or operated by Chinese companies. And these are technically not military ports, but they can easily be used by PLA ships to refuel, replenish supplies, and for repairs. And China's quest for military bases is also part of a great power competition. That's how countries demonstrate power. That's how they project power, through their military presence overseas. Now, going by one claim, America has 750 bases in at least 80 countries. Let me repeat that. A whopping 750 American military bases in 80 countries, 80. No other country comes close to the US. But that does not mean other countries do not have military bases overseas. The British forces have a sizable presence abroad. Reports say the UK has 145 overseas bases. Russia too maintains foreign bases. It is believed to have anywhere between 24 to 36 bases. Most of them are believed to be in Russia's immediate neighborhood. India officially does not have military bases overseas, though it does have a facility in Mauritius. China wants to enter this race now. And it's dangerous because China's expansionism is open, and its record of following the rules is quite poor. Military bases are the new project for the Chinese military, bases where they can station soldiers, where they can deploy weapons and attack rivals. China's base in Djibouti was a warning. A base in Cambodia will be an escalation. It will pose a serious challenge to the safety of the Indo-Pacific. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.